Turkish cuisine has some of the greatest and wackiest kebabs in the world, but if you ask me which one is their best, it's Adana kebab hands down. The meat is chopped to a coarse size, which gives it a pleasantly chewy mouthfeel and super juicy texture. I guarantee this is going to make your top 5 kebabs of all time. The key to making these Adana kebabs is hand chopping the meat with a load of fat to get the unique texture. You combine them with pepper and onion and spices for flavour, then spread the mix onto skewers and grill to perfection. But the traditional process involves chopping again and again and again and again and again and again, and I can't waste a whole morning making kebabs. So we ran an experiment to see if there's an easier way to make Adana kebab, and we found one. You can get 90% of the way there using a shortcut which I'll walk you through later, but first let's cover the fundamentals of the traditional technique. To start off, we need 1 kilogram of pure lamb meat without any gristle or fat or anything, so I'm going to make some by trimming around 1.5 kilograms of lamb shoulder, which I asked my butcher to debone. This shoulder has the skin, fat and all the connective tissue attached, but those make kebabs chewy, so we need to get rid of them. I began by dividing the meat into workable chunks and started to trim off the fat, silver skin and any sort of chewy or tough looking bits. The skin and anything you remove can be discarded, so left with pieces of pure meat that look like this. Once cleaned up, I cut those into small cubes about 1 centimeter in size, and we're still going to mince them later. In total, you need 1 kilogram of pure lamb meat cut into small cubes, so if your butcher can prepare this for you, it will save you some time. Now we'll also need to add some fat, as pure meat won't make a good kebab, and this is where the butcher comes into play again. In the freezer section of my Turkish butcher are packets of frozen lamb tail fat that for some reason are labelled pistachio oil. Weird, right? You might be used to sheep that look like this, but in much of the Middle East, sheep are kinda thick, and their thickness is a prized ingredient in kebabs because this fat has a very low melting point. It's literally melting on my hands as I hold it, so you can imagine what it's like when it's grilled. Fat from a lamb shoulder doesn't melt as quick, but in a pinch you can use any thick chunks of fat that you trim out like these in place of the tail fat, but don't use any thin ones from the skin. You can also ask your butcher for any fat they might have or use dry aged beef fat which you can usually buy from butchers. You need about 100 to 150 grams of fat which are just cut into small pieces. Keep this frozen, otherwise it will be a pain to chop when it starts melting, and here's what the fat I used looked like. Apart from the meat and the fat, the recipe also needs 50 grams of white onion and 100 grams of red pepper. I'm using a capia pepper that tastes like a slightly sweet paprika, or use a regular bell pepper in its place. I chopped both the pepper and the onion into really small cubes and then combined them together and started chopping them even more. I'm basically mincing this by hand, and I'm going to keep going until they're as fine as minced garlic. Once you've got that, you'll notice the vegetables contain a lot of liquid. Liquid is the enemy of good kebabs, so move the vegetables to a strainer. If you're in a rush, squeeze them with a spoon to drain them, but I'm going to allow them to drain for at least 15 minutes. While the vegetables are drying out, you can start mincing the meat, so I placed it on a board and started working through it with my knife. The goal is to hand mince this to a coarse mincemeat texture, so use your sharpest knife, and if you've got a mezzaluna or are thinking of buying one, they'd be super useful here. It took about 10 minutes of chopping to get it down to this smaller size, then I added the fat and carried on chopping. About 10 minutes later, the fat is well combined and it now looks like this. It's starting to look sticky, which is the natural process of the meat and fat binding together, and it's an important stage in kebab making. Once it reaches this point, we'll season the meat. So I added 2 teaspoons of salt, 1 teaspoon of pulled Biber or Aleppo pepper, and 1 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. By now the vegetables will be dry, so add them as well, and then guess what we're going to do? We're going to chop it some more. After about 15 to 20 more minutes of chopping and folding, here's where I'm at. I've got a fairly homogeneous looking blob with a sticky texture. I can easily grab a ball and shape it into a patty or a kebab shape in my hands without it falling apart. And when I spread it thin on the board, there are no chunks left behind. If you still have chunks showing or your meat is falling apart or it's not sticky, you'll need to chop it some more. At this point the kebab mix is ready, but all that chopping will have warmed the fat, so you want to let this rest for at least 15 minutes and preferably in the fridge. So those 40 odd minutes of chopping were not fun, and so we ran an experiment to find a simpler way of making the kebab mix. Option A involved pulsing cubes of meat in a food processor until roughly chopped. Option B used coarsely ground mince made from lamb ribs, and option C used regular twice ground lamb mince from the butcher counter. After cooking them side by side, here's what we found. The texture on A was okay, but you still might need to chop it a little by hand to get it more consistent. C was okay in a pinch, but it didn't have the same chewiness that Adana is known for. And B, well, actually it was pretty good. The texture was nicely put together, and would definitely recommend doing it if you want an easier way. Just ask your butcher to mince some lamb ribs for you a single time on the coarse setting, and you'll end up with coarse mincemeat that looks like this. The size of the mince will be quite large, and you'll get plenty of fat spread throughout, and this way you don't need to do any hand chopping at all. For the ultimate lazy version, add your vegetables to a food processor and pulse them until they're finely chopped, then drain off the liquid. You can add the meat to the food processor with the veg and spices, then pulse that together briefly until it gets a little sticky. The result is a pretty decent looking kofta mix that can easily be shaped, even onto a skewer. But if you have the extra 5 minutes, I'll suggest you combine the coarse meat with the veg by hand kneading for a slightly better texture. And considering this gets you 90% of the way there, it's definitely a solid option as you can have your skewers ready in about 10 minutes of work. So while the kebab mix was resting, I quickly put together a tomato and onion salad that's traditionally served with Adana kebab. Add half a thinly sliced onion to a bowl with a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of sumac. Crush the salt into the onion with your hands to separate the layers, and this will get rid of the raw onion flavour. Add a thinly sliced tomato, then a handful of chopped parsley and half a tablespoon of olive oil. Give it a good mix, and that's the salad done. Now you can move on to skewering the meat, and this technique requires some practice to get the hang of. If you just want to make the kebabs the easy way, shape the meat into an oval shape or into patties on your hand and cook those on your grill or an air fryer. Before the skewers, get some flat wide sheath skewers, link in the description, on which you'll shape the Adana kebab. Take a ball of meat that weighs about 150 grams and knead this together for 30 seconds to make it stick together. Then take your ball of meat in one hand and slide the skewer through the middle of it until it comes out the other side. You then want to squeeze the meat onto the skewer using the palm of your hand and your thumb. Press the meat onto the skewer and work it back and forth a few times to even out the thickness, and rotate the skewer as you go around. You want the meat evenly thick on both sides of the skewer so it doesn't fall off on the grill, and make sure it's not too thick so it can cook through to the middle. When you're happy with its thickness, squeeze off the tops and bottoms of the meat as they usually tear off, and then your skewer should look kinda like this. You can then optionally indent the kofta with finger marks to give it the traditional Adana kebab shape, but it's a bit tricky to get right. If at any point the mix is sticking into your hands too much, or to help shape them, you can dip your hands into some water so they stop sticking. And so you'll get about 8.5 skewers out of this recipe in total, and all you're left with is cooking them. So I lit the coals, and then this happened. Good weather for a barbecue, right? Of course, after spending all day filming, the weather forecast lied and the promised gap in the rain never happened, and it rained right onto the kebabs we were grilling. So the next day we tried again. Lay out the skewers over hot white coals and let them sit for about 40 to 60 seconds until they form a cooked skin on the first side. Then give them another 40 to 60 seconds until that side also has a skin, and rotate them again. Forming the skin first helps prevent the meat from falling off the skewer, and once you have it all the way around, you can rotate every 60 to 90 seconds. You'll keep going until the meat develops some nice browning, and that takes about 6 to 8 minutes of cooking in total. Just a tip, when these start dripping fat, the coals can easily catch fire. So I've got a spray bottle of water, and I can just spray the coals to put out any flames. This is a real pro tip for grilling, just don't do this on a gas grill if you don't want to lose your eyebrows. When the kebabs look like this all over and they're dripping in juice, they're ready to pull off the grill and can be served right away. They're so juicy you don't even need to remove them from the skewers to see how moist they are, but once you break into them, you'll find the coarse texture that I mentioned, and it's one of the main reasons why this kebab is so good. It's just slightly chunky, and that makes for a perfect bite. Get the kebabs off the skewer by pushing them backwards then forwards, and then serve them over some lavash bread. Or to turn this into an Adana sandwich, take a piece of lavash, add some salad and a skewer of kebab, and then dig right into this beast. Time to get a bite of this loaded sandwich. Oh my god. It's honestly hard to describe how good that is other than by saying it's the perfect kebab. It's juicy, flavourful and so pleasing to eat. If that sounds like your kind of thing, well, check out this other kebab as well.